What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Two Worlds podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the best to my Vernon Roach. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. What's Vess's last name? Is that Roach also? Are they like brothers? Or does he have a last name?
They're
What's
not brothers. Bess is a lady.
Oh, okay.
You
Is it
are both, however, in the Temerian Armed Forces.
Oh,
So
okay.
there
Is
you
this
go.
another one of the ones where like you're like be like, oh yeah, they're boning? Because you do that a lot where you're like, this character that's having sex with this character, it's Casey.
No,
Not this time.
I don't. I mean, some people think so. I don't, because well, I'm not that this matters, but in The Witcher 2, you can bang Vess as Geralt, but it's like it probably wouldn't let you if she were with Vernon.
Oh, okay. Unless, maybe Vernon's her cuck.
That could be. That could
He's like,
be.
yeah, I want to watch.
Anywho, uh, yeah, man, let's get going on our news here. You've got a lot more than me, so I'll let you do
Yeah.
a few.
Yeah, we can get you just want to do like all of the comic stuff, like just have that at the end.
Sure.
All right. So we talked about this last week about maybe the possibility of Doom Patrol ending, and then like sure enough, Doom Patrol and Titans are officially ending on HBO Max. But hey, once we get that Velma season two. Now you, as someone that watched both, but you haven't kept up with either of them, correct? Like you pretty disappointed?
Yeah. I mean, I I haven't kept up. Just it's just like a timing thing, you
Yeah.
know. I like both a lot, and I think I'm only like whatever the most current season is for both. That's what I need to watch.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, because Doom Patrol's got stuff going on now that I've not caught up on yet. And I didn't know if you'd watched the season prior to Doom Patrol, where it's
mm,
like a lot of time travel, and then we get Madame Rouge.
nope, I haven't seen
Okay,
that. Okay, well, anyway, I've got a
I
lot to catch up on. I'll
I
say
have a
this.
I
Go
have a
ahead.
feeling this was already planned to be canceled before this season came out. Like that's just from the reports and stuff. It sounds like this has been planned for a little bit. So
Right. And as great as Doom Patrol is, it's gone on longer than I thought it would.
hmm
So, the fact that it's ending now after what, 4 or 5 seasons, it's like,
yeah,
gotta be happy with that.
yeah. And then piggybacking on that though, somehow we're still getting Deadboy Detectives, even though it's Doom Patrol is canceled before it comes out. But Neil Gaiman said they're filming it now, and it's good, according to him. So I mean, I'm pretty excited about that. They were really interesting on Doom Patrol, so it should be pretty cool to see more of them. But at the same time, it's like one season. I have a feeling that's all we're gonna
Yeah, I think you're
get.
probably right.
We got a new Shazam trailer. What'd you think about it? I kind of put what I thought about it in the notes. So I don't know if you watched it or anything.
I didn't watch it. I'm kind of like, unless it's an initial trailer, I'm kind of overwatching them
Well,
because
this is the initial trailer for this one. I'm pretty sure, isn't it? Unless we got like a teaser.
I think we got a teaser.
Okay, I don't remember, but it looks fine. Like my main problem with it though is like the it's another one of those things where it's like we have to up the ante. This is a world threatening event, and it's like you've established that there's a Justice League in this universe. A world threatening event doesn't work anymore. Just have it be a citywide event or something that just affects Billy. And, like I put in the notes, that's why the newest Shazam book worked so well, is because it was like a more contained story versus being like, no, the world's gonna end.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that, to piggyback off of your world ending thing, I think people are sort of desensitized to citywide stuff. Like if a whole
No, I
city
agree.
of people die, that's still a monumental deal. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like there's
but then
no
like
reason people can't do that still.
Yeah, but then it's like I mean it kind of started, I'd say, even before the MCU really took off with like the Transformers movies. Like they had each movie they had to up the ante. And so now it's just like, yeah, everything's world, it's the world or nothing. It just doesn't work quite as well for me.
Yeah.
Um so we got a Gamera teaser trailer, and then the tweet that came along with it stated that Gamera is going to fight 5 other kaijus in 6 episodes. They're still working on the animation, but the little bit that we got, Gamera looks pretty cool. I'm very excited about it. I'm curious what the 5 monsters are going to be. They're going to do any new ones for it like they did in the Heisei series, or if it's going to just be some of the old Showa ones. I kind of hope it's the old Showa ones. I'd like to see like Giron get an update, but I'm pretty stoked.
I don't know who Giron is.
Look him up. I think he looks super cool. He's got a knife nose is like the best way of putting it. He cuts off Gamera's limbs, but it's like when I read about that as a child, and then I saw the movie recently. It's
He's hilarious.
like it was because like Trendmaster made toys of those old Gamera ones, and they look awesome. And so like that was the picture in my head was the Trendmaster one, and it's like, and he tried to cut Gamera in half, like cut him out of his shell. I'm like, this guy is a menace. Like, oh my god! And then I see the movie, I'm like, this guy's hilarious. I love him. Like there's a part where he fights Gauss, like at the beginning. It's Space Gauss, but it's just Gauss, but he's painted a different color because they did not have a lot of money. And like Gauss shoots his laser and he just blocks it with his knife and then it shoots back, kills Gauss, and he just cuts Gauss up and eats him.
It's funny you say that because one of the related images is Gauss. So I click on it and it's a GIF and it's Gauss shooting the laser. It reflects off and cuts off Gauss's own leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
So amazing.
So I'm hoping, like I said, I hope they do some of the Showa characters again. I think that'd be give them nice scary updates.
For sure.
Amazon is making a Tomb Raider film, TV series, and game that will all be interconnected. And I don't think this will work very well because you can do and like you don't need a Tomb Raider TV show along with a movie. There's not enough Tomb Raider lore, as far as I know, for them to be able to justify. Here's Lara Croft in this regular adventure that's going to take 2 hours, and now here she is doing another adventure that's going to take a year. Like it just do that. You can just do a TV show and do a video game that connect. That's fine, but it's not going to work if you're trying to oversaturate it like MCU does with stuff because there's just not enough there.
Something something that I'm thinking of too. And I could be just way off on this. I don't think it's going to work anyway because how many reboots have we had of Tomb Raider? And it doesn't last more than one movie.
Well, we only had the two, didn't we? Because we had the Angelina Jolie ones, and then we had that new one with that. I don't know who she was, but that lady.
Hasn't there been another one?
Not to mind. I mean, there might be, but I don't know about it if there was.
Maybe I'm
Because there
thinking of
was,
like a couple games. I just feel like there's been a lot in the last few years.
yeah, well, because then they tried to do another game where they kind of were like, Uncharted was really popular, so we're gonna steal a lot of stuff from that. And then Uncharted's like, oh, y'all want ladies? Well, we can do that. And then they just made a game where it was like two of the lady characters from their series in there. And then like I think more people just bought that than Tomb Raider.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know a damn thing about any of this. I mean, wasn't Uncharted kind of taking from Tomb Raider anyway? Like, don't
Yeah.
don't they do the
Oh,
same things?
so the way I understood it, it's like, I mean, Uncharted, like a Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider came out, and then there was not wasn't much, and then Uncharted came out. And it was kind of like Tomb Raider, where it was like the fun, bombastic stuff. Yeah, like you end up having him fight, like he finds. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Um, Shangri-La, and he's fighting like Yetis and stuff. It's super cool, which is like the stuff that Tomb Raider used to do. And then the new Tomb Raider came out where it's like we're gonna take the way that he does things, like the jumping, climbing, and all that stuff. But then we're not gonna have her fight Velociraptors. Now we're gonna keep this more grounded. It's like, no, you don't want that. You can start grounded, but then get stupid with it. Have her shoot a T-Rex to death. Do that type of stuff.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. I mean, whatever. I hope it's good for the fans. That's all I have to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. I just think they're trying to do too much with something that you can't get that much out of.
Yeah.
Like that, like you just need to have, or even like, I'm trying to think of who owns the rights to it, but whoever owns the rights, just try to like make extra stuff to get connected into it, because you can't just do all of that with just Tomb Raider.
Right.
Okay, so Batista said he talked to James Gunn about playing Bane, but Gunn's rebooting everything and making it all younger. So Batista's like, I don't even want to do this role anymore. So there's that. So I'm like genuinely happy that he's not gonna be. I'm hoping he's not connected to the DC universe. I just can't stand that chode. So
I mean, did that happen in the wrestling days or after there is wrestling days?
that I can't stand him.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much like I used to love him like at first, and then as his wrestling days kept going, I'm like, this guy just sucks real hard, like to the point where he's injuring people because he's not good at his job. And then from there, he started acting. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I mean, he might be fine as Drax. And then the first time he was Drax, I'm like, yeah, that was fine. And then the second time, I'm like, still doing this shit. This is pretty rough. And then he talks like he's a serious actor now. I'm like, dude,
Hey, he was in James Bond.
he was in James Bond and the Blade Runner movie no one saw. It's like I keep seeing these what culture videos where they talk about that movie. I'm like, I forgot this was a thing.
I didn't see it.
Neither did I. I'm surprised you didn't see it, since you love Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling both so much.
I know, but you know who else was in it?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
So, but yeah, I'm not a Davy Boy fan, so I'm glad he's going to become a more serious actor and win his Oscar.
Yeah, okay.
And then uh, stuff's come out that DC is gonna be showcasing a lot of their DCU plans tomorrow, because they said, I think in the press release, we know they record on Monday, but fuck the Two Worlds podcast. They gotta wait a week to talk about it now.
Yeah,
Which I'm
when
like,
everyone has stopped talking about it.
yeah, I'm like, okay, James.
That's funny. Oh, hey, should I do the YouTube comments before we do the rest of the news? Are we
Yeah,
gonna remember?
we can just do it after. I'll be fine.
Okay. So my one thing that's not comic related. This was huge. I'm sure you heard about it one way or the other in the previous weeks, but Wizards of the Coast came out and they were essentially saying that the OGL, the Open Gaming License, they were going to reverse it, meaning no creators or companies could make and sell their own content based on like the D&D rule system.
Oh, okay.
It pissed everybody off. Like Critical Role, that means they couldn't do their stuff, I'm sure probably Pathfinder, all sorts of stuff like that.
I think even because I saw something where it was like Call of Cthulhu was going to be shut down.
Right.
Because, like,
Yeah, so anything like that. And so like in mass people were canceling their D&D Beyond subscriptions. Like they lost, it was like 10,000 people in the first few hours, and then they lost like 40,000 over the next week or so, just like a massive amount. And earlier this week, or I guess it would have been towards the end of last week because it's Monday, Wizards came out and was like, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. So the fans have won.
so I heard, and I'm not going to say this is true because I might be making it up right now, but I heard the testing room boys actually just sent them a text and said, "Hey, cut this out," and that's the real reason why they stopped.
Yeah, I mean that chances are you're correct.
I mean, like I said, this is just what I heard.
Right. And I mean, you don't want to mess with those guys.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyhoozle. Uh yeah, I'm glad that they went back on it. Normally, big companies will say, we're gonna do it anyway because money, and that's really all that came down to.
Hmm.
So it's a good thing all around that they went back on it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, now since this is a comic book podcast, we will talk some of the comic announcements that happened. There's three books that got announced. We're going to be getting a Titans book by Tom Taylor and Nicholas Scott, and I already know Jake's super pumped about that.
Yeah, can't wait for more of his in continuity work.
Yeah. Do you think, because isn't Nicholas Scott the current artist on Nightwing? Do you think he's probably going to get off of there, or he's not?
No.
Okay, well, never mind then. But yeah, so I mean, I am not looking forward to that at all personally. But I think some people are excited. But he said that they're going to be moving Titan's Tower to Bloodhaven, and they're going to be operating out of there, and it's going to be like like kind of like the team that was in Nightwing is going to be the team that he uses.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Nightwing's already just a Titans crossover book anyways, so now I'm sure it's just going to be more of that.
Just think of the love triangle though between Starfire and Barbara and Dick now.
It's going to be really great to read.
I
I
bet.
can't wait. Just kidding. I'm not going to read Titans.
Okay, and then we're getting the Cyborg comic. They announced the creative team. It's Morgan Hampton who's writing it, and I guess he did this. It was the milestone like new creator thing,
Sure.
that they had done. He was one of the people from that's being brought over to write Cyborg. And it made me feel so old because the editor was talking about it and he's like, "Oh man, I've loved Cyborg ever since seeing him in Teen Titans, the cartoon." It's like, boy, that means you're probably younger than me. But
I think it's cool that one of those talent showcases panned out. So good for
yeah.
him.
And then Tom Rainey's doing the art and he did like the stuff. I think wasn't it? Oh, what was it?
I think Tom Rainey's done a bunch of stuff,
That's
man.
what I thought. But he was doing one of the milestone books, wasn't he?
I don't remember.
All right, but yeah, so it should be pretty cool. Morgan was saying that they're gonna have Cyborg in Detroit, being kind of like the hero of Detroit and stuff, bring him back to his roots, which
That could
sounds pretty.
work.
Sounds like it could be awesome. Be nice to get a good Cyborg book because like the only time that they really tried the Cyborg book was New 52 and it was garbage. So let's
He
hope.
had one. He had one in Rebirth as well.
Oh, okay. Was it garbage too?
I couldn't get into it,
Yeah.
but I think the problem since the new 52 is that they were like, okay, he's powered by a mother box now, and everything is going to be like multiverse and universe shattering.
Yeah.
It's like if they put him as a kind of a street level guy in Detroit, that I think that
That
works way better.
yeah. No, I agree.
All right, and then my bit from the comics news is that initially it was announced that Mariko Tamaki was going to be doing a Green Lantern book, and that is no more. So now we're getting a new Green Lantern ongoing in May, written by Jeremy Adams and art by Zermanico. And I just know that Casey was pumped whenever he saw that.
I was like, I wonder what happened with Tamaki that she, decided to leave it because like I was willing to give that a try, even though her last couple of DC things were hot garbage. But I was willing to give that a try. I'm more pumped for, Jeremy Adams, and then also it's going to get a backup story in it by Philip Kennedy Johnson. He's going to be doing that's good. Like the backup story is going to be leading into his John Stewart series, so that's really exciting too. Yeah, I mean, you're not like I'm the Green Lantern fanboy of the group, so like of course I'm picking it up. Are you going to check it out?
If it's Hal, probably not.
Yeah, you never got into Hal.
I mean, I like him when he's in stuff, but I mean, look how much you and I read, man. Like it's got to be a
Fair enough.
character that I'm really pumped for to try it out. And I almost don't want to try out the John Stewart series, but I like Philip Kennedy Johnson a lot, so
Yeah.
I'll try that out. But
Yeah,
and it,
gotcha.
when it comes down to lanterns, it's like you already know, everybody already knows John was my first lantern, so it's like of the two, I'm gonna go with John Stewart.
Is Guy creeping up on John as far as your favorites? Because I know, I mean, you've read probably the most Guy,
Yeah,
probably.
no, I like Guy a lot.
Yeah,
I just don't think that the average DC comic writer knows how to write Guy properly.
yeah,
He's either like way too stupid or just way too much of an asshole. And you
yeah.
really got to find that balance. And there's only a few writers that have. Now,
Venditti did.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And if Philip Kennedy Johnson was like, just kidding, it's not John Stewart, it's Guy Gardner, I'd be like, all right, I'm still gonna read this because he's a
Yeah.
really good writer.
Well, Philip Kennedy Johnson has become one of those writers. This is not like the coolest of cool, of hot takes. He's become one of those writers where, yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah,
It could be like it could be 100% like him writing, I don't know, the stupidest character you can think of, and I'm like, nah, I'll give it at least 3 issues.
Bawana Beast.
Dude, I love the wannabes, so absolutely,
Yeah, that would be fun. But anyway, mostly exciting stuff on the new comics.
yeah.
More than not.
And if you're listening to this, tell us if you're like, nah, dude, Titans is gonna be so good. I love Tommy T. So, and we'll be
Yeah.
like, well, I'm glad someone's buying it.
All right. That is the end of the news. Before we carry on, I'm going to read our YouTube comments from last
Oh
week.
yes.
All right. So the first one is from Eric. Eric coming back for his Fantastic Four. He says, my list for costumes that were perfect the way they were are these. Spider Woman's original full body suit and mask design with her black hair pulled out. I hated the biker chick design that they had 5 to 10 years ago. Harley Quinn's original design, nothing that she has worn has come close to it. Do we really need to take inspiration from the first Suicide Squad movie? I say no. Carol Danvers' Miss Marvel costume. It's sleek, sexy, and looks pretty cool. Her current look with the weird helmet hair never worked for me. I completely agree.
So
That,
like, I don't mind the jumpsuit, but that helmet is trash. Like
yeah,
so bad.
yeah. I do really like that first Miss Marvel one though, the black with the yellow bolt, just so cool.
Isn't that technically the second one?
You are correct. And then he says Starfire's original design from the 80s to New 52. Let's face it, she's hot. Her costume should reflect her strong sexual confidence. Said I've got a few more, but I may be revealing too much about myself at this point.
Is he have to come out and do a smash or pass too?
Oh, they'd all be smash. But good choices there, Eric. Definitely agree with those. And then we've got uh a comment from Casey saying Dave Batista is Ganthet. Do it, cowards. And from Preston. He says, hey, homies, sorry I haven't commented much lately, and also thanks again for having me on. My costume list is Captain Kate Pride's new Marauders costume is a super cool change. She has had a lot of costumes, but not always as Kate slash Kitty Pride. I also agree with your Cyclops and Gambit 90s costumes. This next one I agree with wholeheartedly. Cassandra Cain, as I really
Oh
like the
yeah.
mask with the mouth that's stitched over, the subtle yellow bat symbol outline, and a lot of times when they go crazy with her cape, it's super cool to look at. I do agree with the Steph Brown. Love me some purple. Speaking of which, Psylocke, the classic purple onesie, and the arm slash leg bands with the red sash at the waist. Hot damn. And he says, lastly, since we're doing four, Ren leader of the Knights of Ren from Hidden Empire and Crimson Reign. Dude has a sick ass helmet, no shirt, swole as hell, and a tattered cape. Look him up. He's badass. I did look him up. He is pretty badass. And I'm
Nice.
guessing if we had Preston on for another smash or pass with those four, all four would be smashes.
um, I just thought of one while you're talking. Another one that needs to be tossed into like the great costumes that don't need anything added to it. Silk.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Silks is amazing. And I don't think I think it's been the same since I mean, she's only been around since like 2014, but
Yeah.
still.
So I think you're right though. Well, I mean, heck, they updated Miles's costume and they shouldn't have.
No, it was awful. And much like any spider person, the original doesn't need to be touched.
Yep. Oh, dude. Okay, so we can cut to commercial, and then I'll talk about this on our break. But so yeah, we can just.
All
I'll
right.
I'll give it away to you, and then you can cut away.
Sounds good. All right, guys. So we're going to take our ad break. And when we come back, we'll do our reviews. So we'll be right back.
Okay, so I follow Dan Slott on the Twitter on our Two Worlds podcast tweets, and he in one of the Spider Verse comics. It's like this is hilarious to me. I think it's such a funny idea. He took like from like the early Spider-Man stuff. It was just there was no hyphen, so it was just Spider-Man, and then like the colors were off and stuff. So like he then just introduced Spider-Man, like no hyphen, and like the colors are like a little bit different because it was like early on. So then he's like, yeah, and then I don't even think his name was Peter Parker, and like they had a fuck up when they were doing that. So like he just did all this because he's a big old fucking nerd, and I'm like, this is like I said, I'm not a fan, but this is hilarious, and I'm 100% love this.
Yeah. No, that's great, man. And he like with a lot of people we talk trash on, he's not always been bad.
No, I just hated the Spirit Spider-Man so much and his reaction, like him going into it, like you guys are gonna hate this, and he's like, "Why do you hate this?" And I'm like, come on,
And then telling everyone they were wrong for not liking it.
yeah. So that's where most of my gripes come from. But no, I thought that was so funny. And then I think Ron Mars commented on it. He's like, he has to like you have to pronounce his name like men, like it's his last. It's so it'd be Spider
Like
Man.
Goldman
Yeah,
or
like
something.
Goldman. Yeah. So I'm like, that's too good.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Shall we mad lib it up?
Yeah, let's do some of them libs.
All right. Oh, this is going to be a good one because its title is Froggy.
Oh shit.
So make it a good one.
I'm gonna try my best.
Adjective.
Bright.
Verb ending in ing.
Fucking.
A place.
My butthole.
A person.
Jake.
A verb.
Um, I'm gonna
Please make it good.
um shooting a fat load.
I'm gonna alter that to fit the sentence.
Perfect. Fit it in.
Plural noun.
Balls.
Noun.
Shit water.
Okay. Verb.
Wiping too hard. It's like there's blood, you know?
Sure. Place.
Jake's butthole.
Oh. Adverb.
Quickly.
You use quickly every single time.
I mean, it works every time.
Okay. It's like, Casey, you know what an adverb is, right? And you're like, absolutely.
Barely.
Quickly.
Yeah, quickly.
A number.
69.
A noun.
um a treadmill.
Oh, okay.
You're like, oh, that's weird.
I was expecting, well, who knows?
Yeah, shit, piss, or cum, probably.
Yeah. An exclamation.
How long does it have to be? Can I just do one word, or does it have to be like a?
No, just one word, like something you'd yell.
Oh, okay. Tits.
All right, Casey, an adverb, and you can't use quickly.
Oh man. I mean, quickly is the only one that comes to mind every time.
like frantically, or
Yeah, I'm not a writer, so it's hard for me to come up with adverbs.
Fair enough.
Awkwardly.
Okay, that works. Adjective.
Bloody.
Noun.
The dildos that you found in your parents' bedroom when you were 7. Because you were looking for Christmas presents. That's a reference to one of our friends. I don't think he was 7, though.
Sorry, I have to write it all out.
Yeah.
And one more exclamation.
Come.
Why not? Okay, I have a feeling this one's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fucking fever dream for sure. You gotta take a sip because you're like, this is gonna be lots of stuff. That's straight whiskey.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it after reading some of these sentences. It was just another lazy day for Bright the cat. As usual, he planned to spend his day fucking around Casey's butthole. But he couldn't find his friend Jake anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he knew that you'd be there, so.
Where could Froggy have gone? You've got to. You've got to jerk me off, Big said to Sonic. We have to find Froggy. We'll get all the balls to help look, replied Sonic. Thanks, said Big. I'll search the shit water because sometimes Froggy likes to wipe too hard there. Wow. And after that, we'll go search Jake's butthole, added Amy Rose.
Fucking Amy, you're a freak. It's like, let's go look in Jake's ass.
Okay. After quickly searching for 69 minutes, Big saw a giant robotic treadmill marching away in the distance. Tits, Sonic shouted. It's Dr. Eggman. He must have Froggy. Big awkwardly ran off after the bloody robot.
The awkwardly running actually fits with him, though.
I know, right? Big, wait, cried Amy as she raced back. On her shoulder was a familiar. Jesus Christ. On her shoulder was a familiar.
You okay, bud?
No. God, I can't read it. On her shoulder was a familiar green dildo you found in your parents' bedroom when searching for Christmas presents. Come, croaked Froggy as he watched his friend run off. The end. Man, that might be my new favorite.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Holy shit. So glad we started doing those.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, welcome back, folks. If you would like to hear Casey and I talk about Dan Slott, and also do, I'm going to say, our best Sonic Mad Lib to date. I was definitely crying harder than Millie Bobby Brown, the Hedgehog. Go over to our YouTube channel and check that out. That's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube. And if you haven't, while you're there, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, leave a comment down below about, how much you love Froggy and Big the Cat.
Yes.
And then if you'd rather, instead of listening to YouTube, just us tell you all, I don't know. I
mean, we're essentially writing Sonic fanfic for you guys.
Yeah,
The least you could do is go listen.
Yeah, I mean, we're no Kin Penders. Take a drink if you're listening to this, because that's part of the drinking game. But we're no Kin Penders, but it's still pretty hot.
We really do need to come up with a bingo card for our episodes.
Yeah. Kin Penders, talking about how Tom King hates Asian people. Those are two that would have to be on there for sure.
Casey's Batman voice.
Yeah, my Batman voice. Jake's punchline. It's much more rare, but it's still just delightful.
And if you guys have any suggestions for a Two Worlds Podcast bingo card for us, then let us know.
Yeah. And if we get that made, Jake will, since Jake's the alcoholic of the group, well, when we go C2E2 at night, he'll play that, and while we do a live podcast and just get hammered, because I will not stop talking about Tom King. What you read this week?
Yeah. So I read JSA 2, Witcher Ballad of Two Wolves 2, Hitomi 4, Thor 30, Deadboy Detectives 2, Detective Comics 1068, Action Comics 1051, Midnight Suns 5, Behold Behemoth 3, and Saga 61.
I'm surprised you didn't pick up the last Ronin and Lazarus Planet.
I had to sell my copy of Lazarus Planet because we sold out.
I gotcha.
And Last Ronin, I don't know, and you'll tell me when you talk about it, but I feel like they're to the point now, they're like, oh, let's milk it.
Kinda, but it's also like, I'll say this now, I'm invested in the world. So it's not like milking for them. I mean, they are milking for the sake of milking it, but it's still like interesting stories. It's not so far. It's not like how Lazarus Planet feels like they're milking it and it just started.
Right.
So
All right. Since we have a lot, I am gonna boot up the old Two Worlds podcast hour man 1 hour comic extravaganza
okay.
timer.
I'll say my books really quick.
Yes.
Blue Beetle, Graduation Day, 3 of 6. The Invincible Iron Man, number 2. DC Universe, Lazarus Planet, We Were Once Gods, one shot. The Last Ronin, Lost Years, number 1. Thor, number 30. The Deadboy Detectives. I don't like this cover because there's the big S, so I keep wanting to say the Spread Boy Detectives. The Detective Comics, 1068. Hitomi, number 4. Behold Behemoth, number 3. Saga, 61. And Action Comics, 1051.
All right. I think we both have 3 and then our mutuals.
I have 4 because of Last Ronin.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start the timer and you take it away first, man.
All right, dude. And so to start, I'm going to go with Blue Beetle Graduation Day, trying to find a creative team since DC likes to put them in different spots. But just to start, this art is so hit and miss. Okay, it's Josh Trujillo and Adriana Gutierrez on the art. And there's parts where I really like, but then also sometimes when okay, I'll show what I like. Like, look at this Ted. I love the Ted, how it's drawn. But then the things I don't like is anytime they try to draw like a face that smiles.
Sure.
And then even the cover, like look at Starfire. She does that. That does not look like
her mouth is huge.
Yeah, it does not look good. It's just like, have you like it's like if the perfect comic book character would be, oh, look at this person, would be like this person drawing their mouth and then Rob Liefeld drawing their feet. Like, it's not good. But other than that, I do enjoy it. I'm interested in seeing where it's going. It's kind of doing a lot of stuff for 6 issues. I don't know how it's going to work. I think it's going to be kind of one of those problems where, well, that's the end type of thing.
Right.
If it wasn't 6 issues, I would have dropped it. I'll just say that. I'm not super hot on this, but it's perfectly fine. I'm going to go. Yeah, I mean, like, we get Starfire in this. She's pretty fun. Yeah, I'm probably at like a 5. It's story wise, it doesn't do a whole lot for me. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not overly interesting.
Well, hopefully the movie's better.
I mean, I don't think it matters at this point.
All right, Midnight Suns number 5, written by Ethan Sachs, with art by Luigi Zagaria and Alberto Fauche. It's fine. They band together and fight Agatha's old person, old coven mate, and then Clea shows up and they're like, hey, thanks for the help, Sorcerer Supreme. And then Agatha, who you think dies in the battle, spoiler alert, didn't die, but she comes back as a hot young Agatha. And her costume's pretty dope. And then it says the end? Question mark, exclamation point. So if they do a second volume, I probably won't read it because I don't think it was that good. It was just, it'll probably make like the okay list for next year. But there's Agatha's costume.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, give it like a 6. Fine.
Yeah. All right, so next up it's The Invincible Iron Man, number 2 by Gary Duggan and Juan Frigeria on the art. And so, Tony's doing, like, there's weird stuff that's going on in old Tony's mind. He gets picked up by Riri in the gutters, and he's like, he realized that he got drugged while he was at an AA meeting, and that's why he was acting all funny. What's his name? It's the living laser or human laser, whatever, the living laser shows up and he's mad and they fight for a little bit, but then Riri has the Mandarin's rings, and so then she just uses that, and like, because Tony's like, I don't like that you have those because those always mess people up, and then she's like, they're in a safe spot, and she's just wearing them, and so then she looks in his brain and like, oh, Tony did do this, but then when she looks in Tony's brain, he didn't do this, so there's a whole thing going on there, and then the laser's like, hey, um if you find out who did this, I'll team up with you. And but then he also like shoots them with lasers, like, see ya, nerds, and he flies off. So it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, I like this. Tony's written well. The art's really good. I'm curious. Like, I'm very much into this story. The one thing I will say is like, as I was thinking about, as I was reading this, I was like, would Jake be interested in reading this? Because he doesn't like Iron Man. Probably not. But if there's some that walked into your shop, it's like, I really like these Iron Man movies that have been coming out. I just watched all three of them. You guys got any of them Iron Man books? And you're first to be like, why are you talking like that? And secondly, yeah, I got some. This would be a good jumping on point, in
That's
my
good to know.
opinion.
That's good to know.
But I don't think it's good enough for you to be like, oh, dude, I don't like Iron Man at all, but I love this. I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go 7.5.
Okay. The next I will talk about JSA number 2. Had to go with the Dr. Midnight variant.
Nice.
It's written by Jeff Johns with Mikhail Hanine, Jerry Ordway, and Scott Collins on the art. The stuff with Mikhail Hanine's art is really nice to look at. Jerry Ordway's is okay, and Scott Collins, I don't think they're a very good artist. But that's whatever. This book, it's just so fucking Jeff Johns, Casey. It's time travel throughout the whole thing. And in one spot, there's time travel on the same page across 4 panels. It's just annoying. Because
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
No idea. Helena gets sent back in time. Like, Dr. Fate's trying to figure it out, but he gets sent through time when he tries to read Helena's mind. So already that's 2 different time things happening. And then Degaton is talking to Catwoman in another time. It's just like, what are you doing, Jeff? And then at the end, it's yet another time with it's like way in the future. So it's just, I just don't know what he's doing. It's annoying.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
Mikhail Hanine's art is just so incredible, though. And I like seeing these JSA characters. But man, it is. I'm going to try to get through this arc, dude. But so far, it is just a pretty looking slog.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Hopefully it just like finds its footing next issue. I am going to give it a 5.
I gotcha. Okay, DC Universe, Lazarus Planet. We were once gods. Number 1. The first one's called Hunger Pains, and it's by Francis Manapul. And so, like, when the Lazarus volcano blew up, when water went everywhere, this guy comes up ashore, and then it's like, he's all crazy. He bites one of the people that saved him, and then the guy's like, the human in this is so weird because he's all mad because he gets bit afterwards, and he's like, my house. And so he's like, my rules. Like just let him go. He's like, no, it's my house, my rules. And Aquaman stops it, and he kind of basically explains, oh yeah, I used to think these things were monsters too, but this is, but I've realized they're not, and now they're just confused creatures because it's the deep or whatever, the trench, I mean. That's what, they just got transformed into humans now because of that. So I'm like, that was a neat little twist. Manipul's art's really good, but I don't know, the whole like guy chasing down someone to kill them seemed a little out there, but whatever. Then we have a Martian Manhunter and Songs of Pain by Dan Waters and Max Dunbar. And there's this guy, he's an empath, taking everyone's pain at hospitals and stuff because he just got this power, and he's just like, I'll take all the pain. Manhunter tries to help him, and then it has some doomsday stuff going on. And oh, it was interesting. I mean, this was a fine story. It wasn't anything outstanding, but if I'm being honest, nothing in this was outstanding. Then we have a Song of the Dead by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Jack Herbert on the art. And this is a Wonder Woman story. Like a bunch of zombies came to Themyscira of people that she's already killed before, and they all fight them. This was like very much a letdown. And the reason why I picked up this book, The Price of Eternity by Josie Campbell with Caitlin Yarske on the art. I didn't like this story either, really. It's just kind of, it reveals how they get Billy out of where he was, though. And so that's pretty cool. And it sets up the next thing. But then it helps set up for his new book coming up. And we get this new kid, that's going to be part of the Shazam club, it looks like. And then the Wizard's very upset. And it's like, Billy's back, but can he and Mary withstand the fury of the Wizard of Shazam? Find out in Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods. Like, you're going to make me read all of these damn books, aren't you?
Yes.
So yeah, this was just like such a subpar book that seems so unnecessary to me personally. Like they brought out some like high quality people, but it just did not register for me. Like, I don't know, this Lazarus Planet shit is not overly good so far. So I'm gonna go with a 5 out of 10.
So I don't need to rush to catch up on it.
Personally, for me, you don't. I mean, you might like it more than I did, but no, I was just kind of like, ugh, I don't know about this.
Right. Okay. My final book is The Witcher, The Ballad of Two Wolves, #2, written by Bartosz Sistebor and art by Miki Montlo. So sorry about butchering both of those. Yeah, it's fun. This has one of those like classic Witcher side quest vibes where all of the like people involved with the werewolf attack on this town, all of them have a different story, and you just don't know who you can believe, and Geralt doesn't either. So we're just kind of getting more deep into the mystery of everything. Does he believe the werewolf? Does he believe the guy that approached him on the street, the three ladies in charge of the town? And there's like two other people too, but it's really cool. I like that Dandelion is a part of this because he brings some much needed relief that I think that the last series was sorely missing. And the art's super fun too. So I like this a lot. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Right on, man. I'm glad that that's good because that last one sounded like a rough time.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so the last Ronin, The Lost Years, and this is by Kevin Eastman with Tom Waltz with S.L. Gallant on the pencils. And so yeah, this is like, it jumps around between the present day and the past. So it's like Mikey's reading, or Mikey wrote down in the big book about all the crap that he had done while he was, after everyone was dead. And so Casey's reading it. And she's also trying to train the new turtles, and the new turtles are just a bunch of cuties. Look at them.
Yeah, they are.
Like, just a bunch of cute turtles. And so then April, Grandma April's there too. And then, she's reading about, Casey's then reading about all the stuff Mikey went through. And like, there's one part that like they don't do a very good job of telling, but like Mikey gets his butt, like, he wants to die. Like, he's very depressed. He goes to this place, but his body won't let him die because he's mute, and he tries to find, he's like fishing, tries to find himself. He's kind of finding some peace, and then bunch of douchebags show up and like monster, and they start beating the crap out of him. And he's just gonna let them kill him. Then he remembers something that Splinter said to him, and then he kind of, you know, lets his ninja training out. He beats the crap out of and kills a lot of them. One guy runs off, and then he walks to the village and they're burning it down. And the guy that ran off was like, "Oh, there's the monster. He attacked me." And like, it seems like he's been there for a while though. Like that's the thing that doesn't really make any sense. Like the dude runs off. Mikey gets up, walks down the thing, and then like the whole village is on fire, and like the guy's like there, like in the back of one of their trucks, like bandaged up, look like he's been there for ever. Like it's just like how long was Mikey just laying around looking at stuff? But yeah, it was really cool, and it's like it shows at the end when he first started seeing the turtles again, in his head. And yeah, I like this a lot. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10 because it did, like I said, have that one part where it wasn't written clear enough, in my opinion, but it's still very good. And yeah, I'm 100% in on this.
Well, I'm glad you liked it, man. I thought it was either going to be like a good continuation or whatever, or just they realized it was such a hit that they were going to keep doing it and
Yeah,
doing it and doing it.
I have a feeling it's gonna become that, but right now it's still just good.
Yeah. All right. So what order do you want to review in?
You want to do Behold, Thor, Spread Boys, Detective, Hitome, Action, and Saga?
Behold, Thor, Hitomi, Spread Boys, Detective Action Saga. So you
Yeah.
said, okay, works for me. All right, so we got Behold Behemoth, #3 by Tate Bromble and Nick Robles. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty good continuation of stuff, man. I don't know about
Mm-hmm.
you. The whole time I was like, how does this lady know so much? And then finally they tell us why she knew so much. And I thought that was pretty neato.
Yep. No, and the art in this is super good.
Yeah,
Like, I'm very, very into it. I've been into this since the beginning. This is a really good issue. You should be reading this book.
agreed. It's probably a solid 8 for me.
I'm gonna go 9 for me. I really, really enjoyed it. Okay, so Thor. Number 30, The Legacy of Thanos Part 2 by Torn Grunbeck and Nick Klein on the art. As the Thor boy of the group, what'd you think?
I liked it quite a bit. Um, like the stuff with, Thanos's people is kind of like whatever. And also why is Thanos there with boars? Because that definitely wasn't a thing that happened until this very issue, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, that just makes Thanos too old, in my opinion. I
Yep.
mean, boars is like the oldest thing in the Marvel universe. Uh outside of a couple deities, I think. But the rest of it's pretty cool. Just the stuff with the Valkyries and Runa and them trying to come up with I'll say new mythologies like the memory fish and the Draugr, like all that just feels like classic Asgardian mythology stuff. And I know that Groenbeck is a huge fan to use stuff like that. And then using Nick Klein's art on top of all that just makes it for a pretty good time for me. And then, we got that big character there on that final page that we get to see next time, which should be pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this. Okay, Nick Klein's art's really, really good. I'm not as big into mythology stuff as you are, and I do agree though, the Thanos being there, like, I don't know, like I'm pretty annoyed that they like Thanos to me should be like, yeah, he's really tough. But going against this guy, what's his name, without any like any amps, because like he would lose, period. And like
Right.
also having him be this old doesn't make any sense because he's never been that old.
Yeah.
So that's pretty weird. And like the one other thing is like the last arc, which was the Donny Cates stuff. Odin was talking to him all the time, and then like in this one, he doesn't really talk to him until the very end, and that seemed kind of odd. But yeah, I thought it was very fine. It didn't knock my socks off though.
Something I'm concerned about is, let's just say, for whatever reason, Donnie doesn't come back to the book.
Yeah.
He left so much there with like Throg and everything that's just
Mm-hmm.
not going to get answered. And that has me concerned.
Yeah. No, I have a feeling I don't think he's going to be coming back, but who knows?
Yeah. And like if Grunback takes over, that's fine because I like all the Asgard stuff she's written, the Valkyrie book and stuff like that. Um, it'll just be nice. I feel like if Donnie's not coming back and she is taken over, like after maybe this arc, it'll truly feel like her stuff going forward. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's my hope anyway.
Where you at with this though?
Um, probably like a 7.5.
Yeah, I'll probably say 6.5. I liked it okay, but nothing I'd roll out of bed for except for that art. It's really good. All right, so now we got the Spread Boy Detectives by Pornsak Pichishot and Jeff Stokely's art, and this is enjoyable. I think that's the best way of putting it. I think it's just
Yeah.
a neat book with lots of creepy crawl. Like it's so weird how good the creepy stuff looks in this when the artwork is not a creepy type, style artwork.
Mm-hmm.
But what were your thoughts?
No, I loved it. The part that stuck out for me was the dead road,
Yeah,
just like whispering weird stuff to the kids. Stuff that's like generally unsettling.
yeah,
So I like that quite a bit. And then I think he does a good job of writing these kids as kids.
yeah.
Like
Eh,
when they're talking about girls and boys and stuff like that, it's like it's just believable. It just sounds like a
yeah.
kid.
And then one other thing too, just stuff that he writes very well. And it's not like it shouldn't come off as a surprise, but when he's talking about, oh, these Taiwanese people wanted to be, even though they didn't like these other Taiwanese families, they still wanted to be friends because they understood the struggle they were going through. It's like that's something that I don't think it would work as well if a white dude wrote that, because it seems like it would just come off very fake, because it almost always does when they do. But when it's like someone that probably went through something similar, like understood that.
Yeah. All of that on top of him sprinkling in subtle hints of like 1940s noir,
Yeah.
like talking about the dame and stuff like that.
Yep.
It just works. It all works.
I really liked it, dude. You really need to read Good Asian.
Yeah, I know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm at like a good 9 or 9.5 on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 8.5 for me. It's really really good. Um, yeah, I like it a lot.
All right, moving along, we've got Hitomi number 4, written by H.S. Pak or Tak, sorry, and art by Isabella Mazzanti. And we're getting close to the end, but what do you think of this one, dude?
I liked it a lot. The art's still as good as ever. Um, yeah, there's nothing bad to say about this book, I don't think. Like it's just a wonderful time. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's gonna be like a lot of 5-issue image series where that last issue is just not gonna be enough.
Yep.
She's gonna infiltrate another castle by herself and this guy is going to run off and try to save her, and anything that happens in between, before or after that, has to be done in 22 pages.
Yep.
It's not going to be enough.
So I'm calling it now. She's gonna kill him, but then feel regret about it.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I don't know what to expect. But I'll say this issue, when we really get to the meat of his backstory, like everything he went through, you kind of soften a bit for him, I think.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nice. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I'll be honest. I softened to him basically after the first issue, after he saved her, because I'm like, oh yeah, I like this guy, even though, because it's one of those things where it's like you always have to put yourself in their shoes, where it's like, yeah, when crappy things happen in war, it happened in war. So even though he did do that shit that he did, it's like it doesn't justify it, but it was in the midst of war. So I guess
Yeah,
that's how you have to look at it.
for sure. And it's not like I was ever like, ooh, I don't like this guy, because he's
Yeah.
been cool the whole time. But it's like, oh, you've been to this many countries and sold and beaten and all this, it's just,
Yeah.
I feel for him.
But I'd say I'm at a 9.5 for this book.
I think it's an 8 for me. I didn't like it as much as you, but it was still solid.
All right. So next up, Detective Comics,
Yep.
correct? All right. So this is Ram V with Ivan Rice and Raphael Albuquerque on the art, and heavy Two-Face issue. And Ram V writes Two-Face super well. This is like the best Two-Face has been. I think I've said this before. Best Two-Face has been since like the Long Halloween. Like he's just always been kind of like they don't know what to do with him, and they do such a good job in this. The main stuff going on isn't my favorite, but yeah, I love the Two-Face in it. What'd you think?
Yeah, I agree. The main stuff going on isn't my favorite either, but I do like just like some supernatural stuff out of the Batman,
Yeah,
like the guy transforming into like a werewolf guy is pretty neat. This other, you know, this guy with 6 arms or whatever is also pretty neat.
there's one part I just want to show because I think it's hilarious when that dude fights Batman. It looks like he's just giving Batman tickles. The way it's drawn, he's
Yeah,
like tickle, tickle, tickle.
yeah,
Like,
I
it's like,
agree.
oh, stop!
Please stop. I'm really ticklish.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're really tickling me right now.
But yeah, and then any guesses as to what my favorite part was?
Oh, it was the last page. I already know.
Yeah,
I
it
was gonna text
was.
you about it, but I'm like, we'll just talk about it. It's like Jake's gonna be so excited, and
Yeah.
that seems like a very Ram V character. So from the stuff you've said, I'm like, I have a feeling Ram's gonna run with this guy pretty well.
I hope so. I hope so, because it's going to be hard to top Dan Waters doing it, but if
Yeah,
anybody can do it, Ram V can. So we'll see
and
what happens.
I'm not gonna lie, we had a backup story called "A Tune That Listens Back" by Simon Spurrier and Danny on the art, and I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, there was no chance I was going to read that. So
Like I looked at it and I'm like, the way that they decided to write it all, I'm like, this is just not my cup of tea, and I'm not a big enough fan of either of these people that are doing it to struggle through it. So I'm just not gonna even try. So yeah, what would you rate it, man?
7.
I'm probably at a solid 6. It'd be more had it not been for that backup story.
Yeah, well, it would have been a 6 for me until I saw the 10-eyed man. So that
Yeah,
automatically gets a point.
I gotcha.
All right. Action Comics 1051. I want to show the fun variant that I got.
I like that variant. That's a nice one.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, with art by Rafa Sandoval. And then we got a backup by Dan Jurgens and Lee Weeks. I like this book a whole lot, man. What about you?
I liked it too. There's a little couple things that kind of like, why is it that kind of annoy me just out of like comic book logic, because it's like, oh yeah, this guy, he's gonna try shooting at this thing, and then it's like, yeah, it's a regular person. So Superman shows up, Superman 2 shows up, Steel shows up, Steel 2 shows up, Superboy shows up, Chinese Superman shows up, Supergirl shows up. Like, these regular folks don't stand a chance against us, them and their guns. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you what bugged me. My big gripe was all this stuff is happening right behind Superman in the tower with Metallo.
Mm-hmm.
None of them hear any of it until Metallo's like, Superman, I know you can hear me.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Why didn't
Yeah.
one of them fly up there sooner?
Yep. I
So
agree.
that really bugged me. And that might be like a small, stupid thing, but it's like, man, I don't know. Is that unwarranted?
No, you're right. I mean, because it's just like, because Connor gets blasted by the dang stuff, and then no one really. I mean, maybe it's just because all the explosions is going on, but
On the
like
positives,
he gets
though.
blasted.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt you.
no, it's just like, and there's like, let's just keep doing what we're doing, and then he's like, oh no, I can now hear him because he's talking.
Right.
So
The positives, though, I really like the costumes.
yeah, I do
They're
too.
cool,
I don't
especially Keenan's.
I don't like Keenan having short hair though. I liked it when he had like, I think they just did it so that he can kind of look different, but because it's
Right.
like otherwise you'd have Connor, Keenan, and John all having the same exact haircut.
Yeah, for sure. I get that. But I just like all the suits are pretty streamlined. I really like the S symbols on everyone's shoulders. And then Natasha Irons just looks so freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
She's, I'm gonna say this. She's another one where I don't think she's ever had a bad costume.
right.
Like honestly, it every time like it looks cool in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And then what did you
All
think of the two backup stories?
yes. So I liked I had to flip to it. I actually like both of them. I vaguely remember the end of the New 52. Dan Jurgens was doing that because he created Jonathan Kent, that whole idea.
Yeah.
So there was like a few issues where Black Suit Superman and Lois were raising their son John, out on this farm, and I remember liking that stuff. And I thought this was like, again, I think Dan doesn't always hit when it comes to like think to that Blue and Gold book where he was like, this is how the young people talk, and it's all
Mm-hmm.
like chat room stuff. I think this was better, where it's like, okay, I can see a young Jonathan Kent actually saying stuff like this.
Yep.
And then on top of that, Lee Weeks's art was just out of this world.
Yeah. It's the art's so good and the story itself is pretty solid. The only downside to the story is like it's such a specific time that if you didn't read that into the New 52 stuff, so that's like the one downside to this book.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I agree. I did like that story a whole bunch.
yeah. And I'm interested to see who that character is that shows up at the end.
Yeah.
And then the next one, I forgot to mention this when I was crediting the creators, but there's a third story about Power Girl by Leah Williams with art by Marguerite Savage. And, again, just like the other taste of this story, I liked it. Again, Power Girl's costume, I think it's dope.
It is. And like, so it's Leah, not Leia. I always said Leia Williams in my brain,
I mean, it
but
could be.
I was just you are the name expert in between the two of
Ugh,
us.
and that's not great.
But the way she writes Power Girl is very good. I like that a whole bunch. It's just, I don't know. I think there's a little bit of trying to over explain in this book, and that's kind
Yeah,
of, not my favorite, as I've talked about before. But
I feel that
but
she's putting a lot because there's only a few pages, so
yeah,
she's really giving us a ton of info.
yeah.
Um,
But Lilith's costume, and maybe it's just the color scheme, always looks cool. Like that, we were
yeah,
like last time, we're like, yeah, she looks awesome, and her costume's just so cool. Then like they updated it for this one. I'm like, still looks cool.
yep, still amazing.
She's gonna have boob sweat though, according to Power Girl.
And see, I thought that was really
I
funny.
did too. I loved that. I thought that was perfect.
It's right back to what you always say about Power Girl, where they talk about the keyhole opening and then they make light of it.
Yeah. Though if I'm being honest, Lilith doesn't need a keyhole because she's not bulletproof. That only works if you're bulletproof.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, overall, I think the story was pretty fun. I didn't realize that happened to Gar during Dark Crisis because I didn't read it.
I thought
Uh,
you read the first issue when you got shot in the head.
yeah, I guess I did read that first one. I didn't know of any repercussions after that.
I gotcha.
The fact that he's just this adorable little calf being brought in by Nightwing, I thought was funny.
Yeah.
But the story itself, I thought it was solid, man. I
Yeah.
really liked it.
I agree. It is solid. It's just, like I said, they just dumped too much on you where I don't think it was necessary. But the characters are written well, and I think it handles, not to shit on a certain guy that tried to do a book about PTSD, but it handles that much better than Heroes in Crisis did.
Yeah. And I think of it this way too. It's like even if you don't love this story, the art is fantastic and it's good enough that we actually read it, unlike the backup in Detective, which
Yeah,
I
and
think
then
says something.
like the knocks on it, it's not like she's doing a disservice to the characters, which is a big thing. Like again, Heroes in Crisis was just a big disservice to the characters involved. This is actually like good in that
Mm-hmm.
way. It's just, I don't think she had enough trust in her artist. That's what I'm gonna say, because that's what it always boils down to. It seems like when they're like, let's just over explain when our artist could do a lot of this for us.
Right. Or like telling us what acute trauma is. It's like, dude, we know.
Yeah,
But still, as someone that's not read a ton of Power Girl, it's like I'm totally on board with this. If this is
yeah,
gonna be our backups, I'm fine with it. It's pretty to look at and the character's likable.
yep. I agree. It's kind of what you want from a backup. It's not necessary reading, but it's something that you want to read.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. What about you, man?
9.5. If
Right,
it weren't for this last issue, it would be my pick of the week.
right on. And now we got Saga 61 by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan. What do you think? Was it worth the wait?
Yeah, I mean it's always worth the wait.
Yeah.
Um Everything about it was really good. I just I trust Brian K. Vaughan wholeheartedly. But what's said on that last page, man? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, is this going to be, is it true? And if it is, will it be handled the right way?
I feel like it's not true, and it's just gonna break our hearts all over again. Because
Yeah,
that's how I feel about this book.
sure. Yeah,
It's just Brian K. Vaughan going, how can I hurt these guys even more?
yeah.
But Fiona's art is so good. Like, yeah, I really, really, really like this book. I've loved it since issue 1. Yeah, it's just rad. And then we get to see what's her name? Sophie again. And that was funny.
Yeah. And Petrichor.
Yeah.
Been a little while. I'm gonna try not to show. Well, here I'll do this because I don't want to show that one page on YouTube. But I really like this creepy
Yeah.
page.
That was awesome.
It's just creepy and cool. And one of the part that stuck out to me was when Sophie was like, "Well, are you happy?" And Lion Cat is like leaning forward to hear the answer, and we don't get the answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was awesome, man. Also, I really, really liked the little scene with that robot commander.
Yeah,
You know
same
what I
here.
mean? He was like Prince Robot. He was likable and funny, and I just like how he's like, "And to you, Your Majesty," even though
Yeah.
it is His Majesty. Good stuff.
I have a feeling the little robot, little squire is gonna end up shooting somebody though. Don't know who, but maybe he shoots a main character's that gets brought back.
Maybe.
I mean,
Either way, I think it's going to be somebody good that we all love.
yeah, and I think I have a feeling he'll die shortly after.
Yeah. So yeah, 10 out of 10, pick of the week.
Yep, 10 out of 10. I won't give it my pick of the week since you gave it yours. So I'll just say, oh, Hitome, probably my pick of the week then.
Okay.
I know, let's go with Last Ronin. I really like Last Ronin. And that, that needs the bump, But
Sure.
what are you excited about this coming week though? Because there's not much I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's not a lot. I'm gonna have to go with some tried and trues here, like Moon Knight, Immortal Red Sonja, and Demon Wars.
Yeah. So Flash for me, like that's the only one I'm actually excited about. And then Lazarus Planet, like DC's trying to force me to read it because they know that I have to get at least X amount of books for you to send them to me. And then I'm going with the DC Power book that's, Black History Month related because I'm like, well, maybe that'll have some good stories out of it. We'll see. It's always a toss
Yeah.
up.
And Static will be in it for sure, I hope. And so that's good enough for me to pick it up.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a Steel. Get some Steel up in there. I love Steel.
Yeah. I'll give an honorary mention to the Bloodline book because I like Blade a lot and I
Oh,
hope that it's neat.
I forgot about that one. I'm going to text you that one too because that one I am actually interested in.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fantastic Four time. Black History Month is starting this week. So give me 4 black characters that you want to see more of for this month only, because we both know after this month, DC and Marvel will both stop caring.
Yep. There's lots I could choose from, but the four, and I want to preface by saying I'm not picking any milestone characters because they've all had a recent series and they're all getting a season 2 of a recent series. So because of that, my answers are Mr. Terrific, always liked him. Sorry, Casey, also Steel,
Yeah,
because he's cool.
yes.
And then Blade, because he pops up in team books, but not enough for my liking. And Dr. Voodoo, because that's a character I don't know too much about, but he always looks super cool and is always cool in the stuff that he pops up in.
Yeah. So yeah, Steel, like I'm gonna go Steel, but I'm gonna go with a Steel Works book instead. So it's like Steel and his daughter going that route. I think that'd be pretty cool. Um, oh, Luke Cage. We don't like the last Luke Cage book that came up kind of sucked. So I think a more fun one would be a much better time. I'm gonna go like just an in continuity Storm book because I like Storm.
Sure.
Big time crush on her. Um, and then trying to think of like another DC character I can just go with that I like. I'll go I have a feeling she's gonna be for sure in the power one, but Joe, the Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah, 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 for sure.
I like her a lot.
All right. Good options all around there. And I think that brings us to the end of the episode. So, closing plugs. Yeah, if you would, please go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would go to our YouTube channel, that's 2worldspodcast on YouTube and subscribe.
Leave us a comment down below. Just about anything, like how your day is.
Tell us your 4 favorite Black superheroes. because
Yeah.
I genuinely am curious.
And I'm curious about how your day is. I hope you got that big promotion you've been trying for.
Yeah. So there we go. All right, guys. Well, we would love to stay in chat, but we have to go fight the Redanians and also the Nilfgaardians, and maybe we'll fuck. Bye, guys.
Probably will. Bye, guys.